So here's the thing about Lost.
Immediately a voice cries out, "No, not again!" Smashes their MP3 player and then leaps out a window.
Calls an exorcist immediately.
I can't let it happen again.
Another hour and a half. Well, we should have just done it and not acknowledged we had done it already.
Yeah.
That'd have been a good bit.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about I'm trying to think who we didn't even talk about last time.
There has to be at least one character we didn't thoroughly discuss.
We didn't talk about Daniel. Oh fuck, he had another philosopher name, didn't he?
Oh, you're talking about... Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
There was Charlotte and then Daniel
Faraday. Faraday was he's not a philosopher. He was an electrician. He invented the Faraday cage, I believe.
That's right. I knew it was some kind of like important history person that nerds would care about.
I liked his performance. I think the twist of him being killed by his own mother was pretty good, except it was weirdly timed. Like, he disappeared for a long period, and then he showed back up. He's like, I'm on the show again. Oh, no, I'm dead.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. I should note that this is not Quinn. This is an entirely different persona who is on this episode. This is, of course, Halloween, and when it becomes October, I become the Spookmaster General, if you listen to the Weekly Manga Recap, a being who is near identical to myself, but makes a lot of bad Halloween-related puns.
That's why you couldn't be on the season, because it would have overlapped, and then you would have had played the Spookmaster General for 4 episodes.
I could do it, too. They show up. They would be like the one constant between seasons. Like, everyone's like, I want like more interconnected stuff, like this character to show up again in another season. Like, well, we can't, but the Spookmaster General is an eternal being of mischief who can persist throughout seasons. So, it's kind of like the Q of the franchise.
It's less of a character, more of a force of nature, like a hurricane or an earthquake.
Yes.
So you're Quinn, I'm Austin. It's October 2022.
I'm the Spookmaster General. Austin, we have to I'm trying to angle for the Vampirella gig, and you're gonna fuck it up for me, okay?
October 2022 credits. We're here to talk about Lost again. What do you think about the character of Charlotte? She just kind of dies unceremoniously from a brain hemorrhage. Do you think they had more planned to change their mind, or was she only ever really to show that they had a time limit in the time travel stuff before their brains exploded?
I think that, like many characters, they were written into the show, and then at some point someone said, I don't think we actually have anything for these guys to do, or some kind of focus group said, we don't care about this character enough, and they took that and said, all right, well, what can we do with them? And they've already blown up or spontaneously killed like 6 other women in the show, so they can't just do that again. So like, all right, what if she dies via brain hemorrhage? And that tells everybody something, and they did that.
Should we use focus groups for Dice Funk? Should I ask a bunch of people in a little room, like, what are the selling points of Vimble Calthinian the Fourth? And then I'm like, I like that he's just portable. You can just pick him up.
Well, here's the thing, Austin. You do use focus groups. You anti-focus groups. People in your audience will tell you they dislike something. And you're like, yes, more of it then.
It's true. I do have oppositional defiance disorder.
Which is a way of using focus groups, It's an important it's an important lesson to use, honestly. Sometimes, fuck them. Just do whatever you want. You're the art, baby. You're the art.
Nothing makes me want to kill a character more than people telling me how much they love them, and vice versa. It's just, listen, I'm not here for you. This isn't about you.
This is about me working through some stuff. Maybe it'll help you. That's great if it does. I don't really care, though.
But we should talk about the people who have gone to patreon.com/Austin Yorsky and allowed the show to exist, starting off, of course, with Joseph Tombrello.
Ooh, what about Extel Bures?
All right, we're going to be here for a while, folks. I'm going to need you to call in sick to work tomorrow to hear this list. Sophia is pretty sure JFK's head just kind of did that.
Let me live a long life, lyrically lessened his lard lame louses, lose my live boory.
Okay, behind the scenes peek here. Originally, this was going to be you and Joa. She was really excited about the Spookmaster General, but then she worked for 48 straight hours and collapsed. So now I'm here, and it's like, wow.
And you're not excited about
Yeah. She was so excited she couldn't wait. And now I'm like, oh fuck, the Spookmaster General. Eardrum espresso.
No, we need Gregorio Avallard, the Goblin Rogue Warlock that is using the magic to make the youth vote in a dystopian D&D campaign called Brazil.
Okay, yeah, this is gonna be a long one. See a little.
Christ, man. Going as Labusi this spooky season. It all just keeps coming up. That's the other thing. There are people who don't listen to Weekly Manga Recap who are like, wait, does the Spookmaster General just make boo puns? And yes, that is ultimately the lore of the character. They make spooky puns, but just bad ones. And mostly they have to stretch. Even when there are better ones, are obviously there.
It's not like the Crypt Keeper where you have a thesaurus there and you're like really getting into the obscure ones to make the jokes. So you planted your flag in Boo and you haven't moved.
It's the best one, let's be honest.
Nephis Decidia, the queer sheep, 2 testosterone factories destroyed, and they're feeling great. Love all the Dice Funk crew and the credit.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I like the idea of testosterone factories because that means they're unionized. Which is good. I'm glad. I don't know where I was going with that. It just kind of started.
Hey, I'd like to hope that any balls people have are unionized. Got to unionize your balls, everybody. Faith and valor help got my dusty milk in my eye. Help! I got dusty milk in my eye. Ooh.
Brent, still every episode of Dice Funk Goatly.
A werewolf doesn't need a Halloween costume. A werewolf is the Halloween costume. Boom.
Dr. Goatman.
Alice in the Purple.
Caroline's bribery will continue until Solitaire improves.
Have they started the betting yet? Has that started?
Yeah, every month they try to outbid each other. There isn't a number in this one, but the implication is that they raise. It's like poker. You just like knock on the table.
Interesting. Dad joke of the end list.
That's a good Sandman joke. I appreciate it. Composting Queen.
Boomentis. It's actually Lumentis, but Boomentis. When you get that same syllable sound, the Spookmaster General has to go for it. Like it's right there.
Yeah, it's a happy birthday, Spookmaster General. Praise then fire and the impulse of making.
Booistic Badger!
Do you ever get tired of the Spookmaster General?
No,
is it still good for you?
Great. You don't understand. I would, if I could make this my sole job in life, I would. I love it so much. Because it only exists off the exasperation of the people I'm up with who are just like, fuck, when does this bit end? Fucking how long is it until Halloween?
I think we're at Matt Collier, if not Cookie Wyvern as well.
No, Cookie Wyvern.
I was trying to give you the spookier one, but okay.
Oh, that's true. Bushikoru Spooky Baby Zenithor is having a birthday party with all of the skeleton props wearing party hats.
Thought Clan 666.
3 owls in a trench coat.
Possum Kingdom Refugee.
Big Time Burger would like to announce that all employees are fully unionized with health benefits and dental benefits.
That's great. Presumably this patron is talking about the testicles we referred to earlier. Full dental benefits.
Oh, are they responding real time? Can they hear us right now?
Please help me if you can. If you can help me throw a rope, please.
Have they been helping? Have they been like applauding all my boo? I'm gonna love that we did like 3 episodes of Lost and like people didn't stop for that, but like they were like one time with the Spookmaster General and they're done. They're like no more Quinn.
I think the Lost episode was good. I'm just gonna say it. Kelly Jane Insomnia's
But you,
plaything.
but you don't think this one's going well, is what you're saying?
I think it has a niche audience.
of me and my Halloween puns. Jamie, conduit of dumb gay bitch.
Jen,
Bleak year.
it's back to school for Matt Lackett because I'm a teacher. Blase emoji. Happy September. Well, they
that
didn't
supposed
change it for October.
Is it supposed to be Blaze? I always thought it was, or Blase. I thought it was Blaze.
What is a Blaze emoji?
I don't know. What is the Blase emoji?
It's one where the smiley face looks blasé, obviously.
I don't. Hold on. I'm gonna type Blase emoji, and we're gonna see what happens.
Okay, while you do that, I'm going to say Jasper Black Lives Matter, Cyber Lady Z.
You know what? That emoji does look kind of blase. You know, I take everything back. However, I do believe it should be boulazé. Yeah. So.
Okay. Sternad, Friends.
Hold on,
LV.
we're going so fast. You just want to end it. You don't like Spookmaster General.
I'm getting you to one with a double O. Now you can go. You can go ridiculous on it.
Jeff the Mongoose seriously questioning the long-term prospects of devilment. Is this a bad? Is this a bad? This is a bad time to tell you the Spookmaster General was my character for season 10.
Oh no! Could you imagine
Every scene.
Kevin Dobbins?
Pumpkin spice itself.
Oh, and my boss says I'm scary. Last name
Charlotte Stefan.
Morgan Rapp.
Haley Snurley.
Jorgen Indie Monster Von Vic Ford is living together with his girlfriend.
69. Boo.
That's the least scary thing that exists.
Sex is kind of scary when you think about it.
Nope.
There are a lot of holes. There are a lot of tunnels and like appendages. It's body horror.
I don't know. Okay, everyone has different experiences. Penal Hus O2, the Norwegian pencil case that gets mistaken for a Dane. A lot of cultural references there.
Do you understand them all?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Robert Evans taught me that Christopher Columbus was the Alex Jones of the sea. That makes sense. Lines up.
Caught him in bed with a dolphin, kissing dolphins.
During the Bronx gay.
Medi Napa.
Bear Cloud Games. All right, we need to pause. What have you been watching? We need to like.
Yeah, we gotta make it fun. We gotta do some.
The bit's done. Spookmaster General had to go home. The bit, everyone's tired of him.
He's sad. He's outside the podcast studio crying. He's like, I was doing my best. I thought
they were having a rough time. They were asked to leave. This was
Going
sort of
home.
like, they were trying things. Didn't really work. You know, sometimes you throw a bit out there, it doesn't land.
His wife left him.
It's been rough. Spookmaster in general, like, they only grow powerful during the month of October. Yet that's when a lot of bad things tend to happen. So it's a shame. There's a lot of trauma connected to this month for them.
Yeah, we had to make all like Spookmaster origins where we see how they got the way they were. Like they're a regular person and there was some kind of accident down at the scare factory.
They were bit by a radioactive October.
And there's like a bully who's like Christmas and is really popular, and it's just like it's a whole thing. We've been watching the television show What We Do in the Shadows, the spinoff of the film of the same name. I saw the movie a long time ago, like when it came out, but I never had seen the show. It's pretty interesting. It's like a kind of like dry comedy. It's like I don't know. I'm not a comedy expert, even though I do a comedy show. I feel like there's a really intelligent way to dissect the sense of humor in the show, but a lot of it is just like isn't wacky that they don't understand things. Fish out of water, I guess is the term I'm looking for. There's a lot of fish out of water humor in it. Have you seen it?
I haven't yet. I plan to for obvious reasons regarding next season. I intend to watch that. But I also know that people are kind of running through their love affair with anything Taika Waititi related. So I wonder if that plays some part in it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that kind of got his name out there, right? That was before any of like the Marvel stuff or Yeah, he's actually in. He's like the main character of the movie.
Yes, and then does he do anything for the show? Is he like a showrunner or I assume executive producer to some extent, but I didn't know if he has like any active involvement in the show. I mean, fuck.
I think
Mark
he
Wahlberg was an executive producer for Boardwalk Empire, and anytime you hear that man talk about that show, you're like, you've never watched it. You have no idea what this show's about.
I think he does things here and there. He has like a cameo in like one season or something. So like he's around. I don't know how like day to day involved he is, but yeah, it's pretty good.
That said, Thor: Love and Thunder, one of my top 5 MCU movies. I don't care what people say. I loved it. Fight me.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll cry.
Okay. I do want to see it, but Joe is very far behind on the Marvel movies. So
can I sneak in your house and like force you to watch them? That makes it sound like I'm I'm a burglar. Can I just play them on the screen when like you're like, oh, let's watch this, like a mischievous imp?
I do have access to them. It's not a matter. I mean, you just can't. Joe cannot be forced to do anything against her will. She is just elusive. It's like a
Joe is
sharp
the mischief
eel.
imp in all this.
Yeah. So, what have you been watching? Anything now?
I've been mostly watching Deep Space Nine and just working my way through it. This is the first Star Trek thing I've ever watched. It's getting better. It started off very weird at the beginning because it would be like, here's an episode about the horrors of war, and then it's like, all right, now the station's been infected by a dog virus. Everyone's a dog or something like that. It's like, fuck, man, I didn't realize there was that kind of juxtaposition. Now it's like balancing out a little bit, but there are still the occasional episode where it's just like, everyone on the ship can't stop thinking about ice cream because an alien passed by the ship or something like that. A psychic alien or whatever. I think the space station's been attacked by like 4 different psychic aliens at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Star Trek famously is very eclectic. There was actually a period in the show's history when you could just send a script in as a watcher and they would just make it. Can you imagine?
I kind of envy that. I'm just like, send it in, man. Like this script writer just being like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. We still get paid either way, right?
Yeah, the famous episode Measure of a Man, which is an incredible Next Generation episode, was just like a lawyer who was just like interested in the implications of synthetic life and their rights, and he just wrote a script about it, sent it in, they made it, all-time classic. But most of the stories resulting from that process are like, oh no, a psychic alien made us all horny.
Yeah, that's where you really get into it. I think that's the episode I saw where I was like, I need to send a text to Austin about this because this is wild to me.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. We could talk more about Star Trek, but I want to say The Beauty of Decay, Horror Perfection, Lich.
Code Sculptor 1.
Emmanuel Orlando Matthias.
Dan is begging you to contribute to the Dice Funk Wiki.
Yeah,
begging.
We should say. There is a Dice Funk Wiki. Some people are doing a heroic amount of work on it, but it is a collaborative process. So it would be cool if people got in there and just wrote little entries and stuff. Thank you very much, Dan, for all your work.
We should find a way to like gamify it. Be like, everyone who contributes gets like 1 entry into a raffle, and the winner gets to send a script into the show for Austin to make it an episode.
I was gonna say we should do a battle pass like Fortnite. That's really what's in right now.
If you battle pass, you get a sweet Vimble skin for a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah, back payments from the distant past of season 5. Oh, I like that idea. It's like I'm gonna start sending out fucking bills to people, but like you've been listening since season 3. You have time to pay the piper.
Joe Turner,
Chase Sterling,
Aaron,
Lime.
Watch Dice Mischief Sundays on Twitch, 5:30 Eastern Time. Gotta get it right, you know.
Your resident Homestuck guy, Gumba Master.
Anton Goretzky. Also, please give Mark some extra love. He just had to make some tough decisions. Mark rules.
All right, Mark. Hope you have a good Halloween, because now I'm the Spookmaster General.
Oh, no!
Bully McCullen.
See, How fucking powerful do you feel right now? Like the energy is surging through your body. You're like, I could do anything. I could climb Everest.
Yeah, that's Bailey McCullen, who is also a pumpkin right now. I've done that. I've done this to them.
Oh no. Garrett Tomlinson is making tea. Would you like some?
Ephemeral Biscuit.
Then Jost.
Gams, Tinkety Tonk, and Up with Austin's Pristine Bussy are boozy.
See? It comes to you. You don't even think about it. You just roll with it. You see them, you're reading a little bit ahead. You're like, Bussy can be Boosie real easy. And boom. That's how art is made.
This is fine art. We're going to put this one in the Louvre.
Just kick something out. We're like, get rid of this. Michael who? Mike Poolangelo can suck my tits. Then I drop this podcast there on the stand instead. Man, my other patronees are going to be really confused.
Yeah, especially if they listen to this. Fraser McVean.
Kyle the Cobalt. I hope they do. I hope you just send it to all your other people you patron, or they're like, what is a Dice Funk? And why am I listening to the credits episode?
A very alienating first experience. Cynic says, Skitch goes out of his way to make sure people coming to the Discord feel welcome. Skitch, this is the opposite. We need to alienate these people. We have to make them feel strange. Yeah. Tell them their name is actually Boo Nathan or something. It's the only way this works. We have to neg them.
Yes. Kyle the Cobalt.
You went backwards. Egon Steiner finally got COVID after 2 years of avoiding it. Now that's the spookiest thing that could happen.
Benedict Holland.
Robin and Eden Beans.
V.
Philip Mitchell.
Squidcap encourages you to read the webcomic Ruinous Fortune at ruinousfortune.com.
Alec Jones's Gayest Frog.
A spooky ghost penguin. What sound would a spooky ghost penguin make, Austin? No, boo whack. Like whack. Come on.
Okay.
Obviously. Jeez.
This is like that video of the guy in the Halloween store with the skeleton. It's like, what's a skeleton's favorite food? Spare ribs.
Dude, that's the funniest video in the fucking world to me. Every time I see that, I lose my shit. I have it saved on 3 different social media platforms. Because if I'm in a low spot, I'm like, this will pick me out of it.
You're at a funeral. You're just it's time for some spare ribs.
I finished my eulogy for my brother this year, and then I popped on that skeleton video, and I was like, all right, back to the grind.
Oh, Jesus. Anne Crane.
Trucker fucker. Look up. Look forward. The ruins lay scattered. Make it anew.
Whoa, that's more of a January energy, I feel like, don't you?
Is that the energy you have in January? My January energy is pure depression. Christmas is over. New Year started. It's all cold and shitty and dark. I have no energy. I retreat into a hole.
I hadn't thought of it like that. I'm usually just like, all right, I got to remember to write a different number on all my checks. So I'm going to try to
write
really
checks?
Not recently.
Oh, okay. I was going to be like, Austin, you're so eclectic and cool and mysterious.
Yeah, I'm going on the penny farthing to the bank to get new checks. Mickle Wayne, spirit of no one cheers well. I can keep on waiting. Who cares how loud silence rings? You'll find me waiting in the wing. I feel like there was supposed to be a line breaks there. I just kind of did my own thing. I was just winging it.
I want to go back to it just a second with Penny Farthing. I don't know if you saw the show Doom Patrol. I watched that previously with my brother and my cousin Sean, and one of her personalities was called Penny Farthing, and I just made a joke more like Penny Farting, and the entire time we watched the show, anytime she showed up, my cousin would just make a fart sound effect, and I would laugh forever. So I want people to understand that's exactly my level of humor at all times. Penny farting and then fart sounds. That's the funny things to me. And then the skeleton video. All that. Just bleed it into my eyeballs.
You have a refined taste. I feel like not everyone gets it. But
The boost in the room.
Damn it. It's the boosts I should have known. And every boom.
See, sometimes you get a double up like that.
Eric Anderson is Thalamon on Twitch.
Duncan.
Busy listening to Space Fighters on the new Spelljammer album.
That's actually a good follow-up. Have you been listening to any good music recently?
There's a lot of new albums out. Bjork has a new album. Slipknot has a new album. The Yeah Yeah Yeahs have a new album. It's a good time for music. I've been
Ooh.
having an eclectic time. It's very funny to go from Bjork to Slipknot.
That is a very distinct transition. I almost feel like that would be like one of those analogy questions you used to get in school. Is like Bjork is to Slipknot as fire is to, and you'd be like water, right? Because those two don't connect otherwise.
More like fire is to penguins. It's like not even the opposite. It's just not related.
Turtlemancer finally has a little bit of money to give to cool people.
Sick. That was an adequate amount of judgment.
Were we supposed to give more judgment?
Yeah, I think that was when Joe was doming the credit people.
Oh, okay. I just discovered, by the way, that the one emoji I've been using all the time is the sub emoji, and I'm like, I don't know how comfortable I am with revealing that much information to people like that. I just thought it was the I'm a sad little baby emoji.
Oh yeah, that one.
I'm just a sad little baby, and then then I found out no, that's the sub emoji.
I mean, it spoke to you on some level.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't wrong, but didn't have to come at me like that.
Aw, dang, the booed coppers got me again. How am I supposed to do booed crimes now? Also, microwave PBJs, do it, you. I presumably do it, you coward.
Yeah. This is a pro tip. I like your enthusiasm there. Actually, the funniest thing to do there would have been to read the thing completely normal and then just add a boo at the end. Completely contrary to everything else. Just stabbed onto the end of it like a murder.
You're like, listen, that was fine for an amateur. But when you're on my level, you don't just see two O's next to each other and turn it into a boo willy-nilly.
Yeah. Hey, bud. Great effort. I like your gumption. Just gonna say, I've been in this biz for a while. I know little tricks of the trade, and you're doing amateur stuff. Hey, it's your first open mic. I understand you want to make fun of yourself before the audience makes fun of you, but that's just pigeonholing yourself, all right? You got to go boo where it doesn't fit.
The Akane Banashi spinoff with the Spookmaster General. Just doing the fucking boo performances. And everyone's just like, how is it possible for someone to be this funny?
I just keep breaking into competitions at the next level so I can perform again. They're like, no, you got kicked out last time. And I'm like, kicked out or kicked in? Boo.
Who did they study under? It must have been a master.
Halloween itself.
Fucking fittingly enough, the next patron's name is Please Make It Stop.
Polite Crow asking if you might kindly open the bins for a little rummage. I love that.
I think it's the word rummage, but everyone who reads that makes it British.
I feel like that is a British storybook character. Like, oh, hello there. I'm Polite Crow. Would you mind opening me bins for a little bit of a rummage there, good sir? And then they find a button and well, I'm just thinking of Corduroy Bear now. But they could just do Corduroy Bear and it's just a Polite Crow instead. So still just as good. Did you ever read Corduroy Bear?
Yeah, when I was a child, yeah.
Have you read it recently? This is a different level now as you're an adult.
There's a lot of deep subtext. There's a lot more about monetary theory than you would think.
It's a lot more pro union than you would imagine.
Oh my god. Jamie East, or as the Spookmaster General would say, Jamie Beast.
Oh yeah, a beast can be like a Halloween term. I like that. Ghost Bot Master. I don't think the Spookmaster General can do anything with that one, unfortunately. So that's a shame.
Yeah. How would you even approach it?
Yeah.
Aaron rules 380.
Yeah. But that's one you could do instead of 383 hate E, because hate is kind of like a spooky thing.
It's pretty spooky. Yeah.
Full of depression and aggression, Austin's pussy be my obsession. I try to interject when I see it's an Austin pussy one, so you don't have to talk about your own pussy as much.
Just it's because of the ego, you know. Like you can't really get a big head about it. What does the tiger dog say?
Just a po boy, soon to be a po dad. Aw, congrats.
Congratulations. Joseph Rigor Mortensen.
Oh, that was a good one. See, sometimes the Spookmaster General does have to do a good one because otherwise they lose their license.
It's basically so the audience can trick themselves into thinking they enjoy it.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's a good one every once in a while.
They're like, dude, this Spookmaster General fires 20 shots a minute. Point one of those hit, and I really like that. That really saves the whole thing, you know. Imagine if you had an album of all stinkers, but like one song was kind of decent. Everyone's like, all right, I'm gonna keep listening to this. Well, I guess Eminem's been going for a while, so I guess it still makes sense.
Okay, we don't have time to unpack that. The like third best selling artist of all time.
Oh, you're gonna sit here and defend Eminem?
I'm not currently, no. I'm saying that
There we go.
There's some bangers in there. You could be
Yes, we all like booze yourself. Boom, wrapped it all back around. Spookmaster General, Thomas Galvin.
Richard Meredith. We did miss, but I understand. We got heated about Eminem.
Hannibal Phage, Gender Thief. Now we have to stop so we could talk about something else because we're at exactly 100.
All right. Well,
That's how numbers work.
I just finished a video game called Deathloop by Arcane Studios. Have you played any of the Dishonored games or Prey?
I briefly played the first Dishonored as like a stream game for a little bit. I didn't get super far because I've never been good at stealth games. I'm so impatient.
So yeah, it is similar to those games. In fact, it reuses some animations and like assets from Dishonored. But if you don't know, it's a game where you're stuck in a time loop and you have to basically make the perfect day of assassinations, but there isn't enough time to kill everybody you need to win the game. So you basically have to spend the majority of the runtime manipulating events, or actually gaining information about manipulating events so that you can set up the perfect run, basically. And there is very little story content. Like mostly it's just like hundreds of quips they wrote between you and another character who keeps killing you. And that's like the multiplayer component, is that the other person can be player controlled. But really the only story is like you wake up at the beginning, you don't know what's going on. The premise is explained. And then if you do the perfect loop, you get some more story. Everything in the middle is almost like a roguelite-esque try again, because you just have to basically do a bunch of like little side quests, like get codes for doors or like passwords for computers and stuff, because the only thing that saves through the loop is information, and then later you can like save some items and stuff using a specific mechanic, but that's not the point. The point is it's a very mechanics heavy game, and I wish it was more fun because it's very interesting. I think it's fascinating. It's clever. I feel like really smart people worked really hard to make it intricate, but the actual game feel is, I think, diminished from Dishonored, which I found really satisfying as like a stealth experience. And I think a lot of it has to do with the multiplayer component.
Yeah.
Because Dishonored is single player, every level is so tightly designed. It's so clever and like literally clockwork. That's funny because there is a level called the Clockwork Mansion, but it does have like this fine like jeweler's approach to it all. Where in Deathloop, you have to make it so that another player can like always have sight lines on you, and it's just not as tightly designed. And I had fun, but I think it's definitely not as strong as the Dishonored games, unfortunately.
Yeah. It sounded like, as you were talking about it, that you're like, I'm intrigued by this concept, but I didn't actually enjoy it that much.
Yeah, I also feel like the stealth was just kind of borked. A lot of times I'd like be sneaking up on someone and I'd be fully crouched. I'd be like going slow, and it's just as soon as you get like near them, they would turn around and like blow your whole run, and it just didn't feel fair. Yeah, they would blow my pussy. I mean, the balance is really funny. As soon as you get the ability to like teleport, it's like game over for these fucks. Like, there's no, you can just zip across the entire map. You're basically like invincible, which is it has like a reverse difficulty curve at the beginning when you have nothing and you don't know where anything is because you have to learn all the maps and stuff, and you have to learn like the patrol routes and who goes where and why. You're just so overwhelmed. By the end of the game, you're just invincible. You can teleport. You can revive. Like, you know where everyone's going to be at any time. It's just very funny how much easier the game gets as it goes along, which is the exact opposite of how most games are designed.
Yeah, I feel like there's a Game Maker's Toolkit episode about to come out any day about that, and stay tuned for it. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, you continue. I'm going to look that up. I bet that exists.
Yeah, it probably does. I know the Clockwork Mansion only because of a Game Maker's Toolkit episode, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've been playing Back 4 Blood. I play that with some friends. We like playing co-op games, and I've enjoyed that. I think that was a game that got hammered a lot early on, and people like got into it and then like dropped it pretty quickly. But it's actually been pretty fun as a game.
Yeah, that's the Left 4 Dead like. I played some of that as well around launch. It was okay. I didn't get it sucked in like I did with the Left 4 Dead games, but I did put like 100 hours into both of those, so I've had quite a bit. To answer the question, Game Maker's Toolkit, the YouTube channel we were discussing, did make a Deathloop video. It's called Wait, Didn't Arcane Already Make Deathloop? And it's actually a video secretly about Prey Moon Crash, the expansion to Prey, which also has a time loop gimmick.
Oh, look at that.
I remember watching this. It kind of compares and contrasts the designs of the two games, which are similar, and makes like an argument that the Prey content was like a first draft or like a testing ground for what became Deathloop.
Interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. Go check it out. As though Game Maker's Toolkit needs plugs.
Yeah, we're going to use our huge amount of clout and fame to help struggling indie channel, Game Maker's Toolkit.
Can you guys check out, this is a small upcoming company, I'd like to give him a little bit of a peep. It's Disney, Disney. If you could just check them out, they've got some really good stuff going on. I think you guys would really dig it.
It reminds me that we just watched an episode of What We Do in the Shadows where, to establish that a character is annoying, they talk about Roblox and Mr. Beast, the YouTuber, and like the joke is that mentioning that and caring about that makes you a fucking loser who sucks.
It's weird because that audience probably would assume so, because I'd assume the audience is like, no, that shit's great, or just like too young to watch a fucking Hulu only or FX only show about vampires.
Yeah, it was jarring. I was talking about this earlier. It's jarring to watch a television show where they say motherfucker with like some consistency. Like, I guess I'm just old, but it is like, you can't say that.
What are you doing?
Television?
They're gonna yell at you. What will the affiliates think?
We were at thank you for all you do every week. You're the best and are loved.
Aw, Steven.
I don't know if you can hear the sirens here. I'm in Philadelphia, where there's always a siren in the background.
Yeah, you just moved. How's your new place?
The place is, well, I was going to say good. It is mostly good, but then I remember that our drying machine is making a terrible noise, and we told them they haven't done anything, and I'm being frustrated with it. I want to be able to dry clothes.
Can I fight them for you?
I would love that.
Okay.
Did we say Feywild?
We just did. God cannot alter the past, though Austin's pussy can.
I didn't realize I had that.
Yeah, your pussy is Deathloop.
Okay, that's a lot of responsibility. Kyle Hill.
A deviled avocado. Again, another one I can't do anything with, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Nemo, the mid-Atlantic kidney punching champion.
Today's gender is ghost piss.
That one got me. You can just do that one straight. Just today's gender is ghost piss.
Today's gender is ghost piss.
That's not what we do in the Shadows joke. To give you an idea of the level of humor. Sekhmet the Wolf, Conduit of finally catching up on the current season of Dice Funk. Almost there. Speaking of the current season of Dice Funk, I am living in the future. I know what's going to happen 2 months from now, as of this recording.
Wow.
The next arcs are so fucking wild. The episodes you're about to hear this week, I'm genuinely jealous I don't get to hear it for the first time again. It is so much. And then the next arc is very silly, but then the next arc, oh fuck, it's crazy. If you fell off the season, you fucked up. I'm just gonna say it.
You messed up. How could you do this to yourself, you fools? It's been very good. I think I have an episode in the tank still to listen to, and then I'm completely caught up again.
You gotta at least catch up to hear this one, and then maybe you can give it a couple weeks to build up the next arc, and then maybe hit that whole arc at once.
Is that how you think? How do you think is the ideal way to listen to Dice Funk? Like episode to episode as they come out, or like build them up and listen to an arc?
I think it depends on the season. Different seasons have different ebbs and flows. There's definitely ones where there's like a more of an ongoing story where I say like, oh, you should definitely listen to it every week just so you can keep all the details in your head. And then there's ones, like I said about season 7, I said like, I want this to be that you can get kicked in the head by a horse between each episode and still follow it because it's just like, there's a bad guy, we're going to go get him. That's it. Like everything else is just comedy. You don't need to keep really anything in mind, right? But sometimes you do.
Famously, season 7, the funny season.
I think a lot of it was very funny.
It was very funny. It's also a season with like child death. So.
I think there's a lot of emotional honesty there, and if you aren't ready for it, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that we can't make the art for the people who need it. I was just saying,
there was also an old man farting in that, which again, that's my pinnacle of comedy. So you know what? It is the funny season. No other season of Dice Funk had a fart joke.
That's not true.
Nope, I've listened to them all. No season of fart joke. Edit out. Austin, edit out the other farts, so I'm not wrong.
Okay. There are just some, arcs and seasons where they're like mysteries and you have to remember clues and stuff. People underestimate, if you don't run like tabletop games, doing a mystery or an investigation is something that's way harder than it looks. And also the audience has to like keep a bunch of stuff in mind, or it's like if you play a game where it's just like, there's a goblin, stab him with your sword. Like there's no... Yeah. What Mark Rosewater would call cognitive load, like what you have to like have engaged in your brain. This is like a whole thing.
We have to talk about Magic then at some point, but let's jump a little bit forward to Justin Peroni.
Moomba. That's
there you
Moomba.
Go. Mm-hmm. Susanna Murdoch.
Not Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch.
Okay. I have some notes for after. Ben Straub.
I have a lot of them for you as well. Van the dense pile of bones.
Just us marking each other's paper with a red pen, just back and forth. DH, the Strixhaven GM that's leading their party into mysteries of interplanar proportion.
Ellie!
Aaron Sagacity.
Dark Wolf.
That one's already spooky. Garth. A lot of R's in Garth.
Can you roll your R's? Can you roll your R's? All right, I like that. I can't at all. So that's unfortunate. That's why I could never learn Spanish both times. I get to like, hey, pronounce this thing with a rolling R. I'm like, well, I can't. So goodbye, everyone. I pick up my notebook and I leave the classroom.
Very rudely in the middle.
Yeah, I push over things. I'm like a cat. I just knock things over on my way out because I've been inconvenienced. Science!
Steve and Christopher.
Excalibur, Anxious Foxy of doing their best. Oh, keep going.
Emberlyn, fastest cat in the West.
Dwayne.
Paco's Lucha RPG, now featuring the Yite, who's a mummy. My brain immediately filled in Lucha Libre, even though it just says Lucha RPG.
Yeah. I like that, though. I want to meet the Yeti.
That's how it's pronounced.
Yeah. Well, I assume it's supposed to be Yeti, right? And just very accentualized. Who's a mummy.
But they're a mummy. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Because that's awesome. That's an awesome thing. One day we and Little Dan are just going to make our own Dice Funk campaign where we just play a bunch of horror movie monsters and you can't stop us.
I should say playing with Dan, for the audience who you call Little Dan. I don't know if we've said that on air before, but it's very funny and very different because I'm used to playing with people who don't have D&D brain. Like I'll probably say this in the postmortem, but Dan has a normal approach to D&D where like I present a problem, he presents a solution. I present a problem, he presents a solution. Back and forth, back and forth. That's the flow of the game. But other people, it's like I present a problem and they tell me about a meme they were looking at. And it is like I forgot what it's like to play D&D with someone who's playing D&D.
Someone who didn't like stop paying attention or like, can I fart in their mouth? Let me roll persuasion. You're like,
And I'm like,
no,
no, there's no one else in the scene. What are you talking about?
I'm rolling. I rolled a 38. What happened? Crit. What happens? You're like, God damn it.
All right, you continue reading. I just saw some typos I'm gonna fix.
Okay, Adler, Patrick Gifford, Sam, Roscoe 101, Kaji Fireson, hoping Aoife, Ramses, and Shadow are cuddling together in the World Cat Tree. Joji Light, or LTE, spooping you all, especially Poston, hero of the Soviet Union, Korksky, the people, NPCs, the fan art this nation craves.
That was what I fixed because it borked the quotations around hero of the Soviet Union, which reminded me I looked on eBay and you can buy just like Soviet medals. You can just get like the Order of Lenin, like the highest thing that the Soviet Union gave out for like $15 if you want an Order of Lenin.
That's not bad at all. That's a steal.
Gage is the next one.
Chief Beef Thief.
I'm looking up the Order of Lenin on eBay and whoa, these are way higher than when I looked before. This one's $3,000. Where did I see the one that's really cheap before? You keep going. I'm looking at Orders of Lenin.
It was just a picture of one. BDO droid.
Yeah, like here's one is World War II awards, Soviet Lenin Army Jubilee medal badge, blah blah blah, $69. Nice. Should I just buy some Soviet medals?
I feel like that's a thing that when people see it, they're gonna make assumptions about you that you don't want.
Okay.
For your sake, I'm trying to protect you on this. I know you're
Okay.
eclectic and you like old nerd shit, but this might.
I just think it'd be funny.
I think it's very funny as well, but I don't know if everyone else will. Alta.
Nicholas B. McDonald. McDonald. I feel bad. I feel bad not saying the name that I typed in, so I always have to add the real one after. I can't commit to the lifestyle.
Do they not love it? They're just like, dude, fucking Spookmaster General read my name. I love this. Do they not feel that with every fiber of their being?
Maybe when you do it. I think when I do it, they're like, yeah, I really wish you had just said the joke I wrote in a normal voice.
But what if this is like a trial run and the Spookmaster General steals Christmas and they come back then as well? And then we get booze for Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, let's see how the scheduling works out. I might have a disease.
Like, I'm going to be busy all
Yeah.
December.
Anon.
Simon Lee, Conduit of Chungus, Beer of Dinkus, Minion of John Con.
Paradoxa.
Rain cosplaying Veronica Sawyer, and the Patreon demon says, Happy Halloween.
Steven Martinez.
Master Zemnahort.
A dyslexic velociraptor has arrived. They say, hey.
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 I didn't realize you were waiting for me. I was like, ooh, Austin's really getting into character for a moment. He's like, what is this character's through line? How do I get there? What's the motivation? Do I make? Yeah. The Otters have been too depressy to change their Patreon name. I hope the Otters are feeling better and they're awesome.
Did we ever find out which Backstreet Boy is gay?
All of them. Even the Trump guy.
Yeah.
Alistair Lutton.
Tabitha Spooks.
Oh, that's a good one. See, there you go. We only need one every 50. One good one every 50, and they stay on. They can't fire us.
Thank you, Tabitha Spooks.
Yeah. Wishbone is gay, and now he could stop. Austin, $1,000 box of magic cards. How do you feel about this?
It's not even a full box, right? It's 4 boosters.
Yeah, 4 booster packs, 15 cards each of beta cards, but they are not tournament legal.
I believe, as our friend Laura Kate Dale would say, it is a piss take. I believe is the term that would be implemented here, if I'm using it correctly. What the fuck?
It's crazy to me because I was like, well, at that point, why would I not, like? What's the difference of proxying it at that point? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not even like much of a proxy person, but I was like, but if they're not tournament legal, then what is the difference between this and a proxy? Like, I know they've done things like this previously, gold bordered cards and things of that nature, but I was like, this is supposed to be like your big deal set. I don't understand why your like $1,000 box of Magic cards is wild.
It's like going into a bank and going up to the teller and being like, give me all the money, I have a gun. And then when you wait to see what they do, and then you're like, no, I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
Yeah, cards
You're
is funny.
just testing the water.
But like then sometimes you do it and they give you a little money. You're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna take that, obviously. Like,
Yeah, why not? It's so fucked up. For people who don't know what we're talking about, there's a list of cards called the Reserve List that Magic 20 years ago promised not to reprint, basically to keep values high for early collectors. The collecting secondhand market is a whole thing going back to like baseball cards and comic books. But that was the idea, is like they want Black Lotus to be valuable. But now 25 years later, people need these cards to play, especially the dual lands for formats like Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. And they basically shot themselves in both nuts because they can't reprint these cards that people need. So they're doing a little experiment. That's a little cheeky joke.
yeah, a little fun.
To reprint them with different backs, which makes them not legal for tournament play, which, if you care about, you can just write Black Lotus on a rectangle and put it in a card sleeve and say it's a Black Lotus, and the cops won't stop you.
Yeah. To give you the context, because these are not tournament legal, they are not allowed in official tournaments, and Magic has official tournaments or formats based around all cards are legal: Vintage, Extended, Legacy. An average, or I shouldn't say an average, but an example of a vintage deck is $90,000, and quite a huge chunk of that just the lands. There's and pretty much everything else is also a reserve list card. Time Walk here is 7,500. Time Twister just under 10K. Ancestral Recall 4,600. These are all reserve list cards that they fucked themselves over completely by making them that expensive.
Yeah, the big group of cards, the Power 9, as they're known, includes Black Lotus and the 5 Moxen, which are artifacts, are all very valuable. I believe the most valuable Magic card is like a first edition Black Lotus, and I believe it is owned currently by rap superstar Post Malone.
Posty, come on.
But yeah, those, I don't even want those cards necessarily. Like, obviously I would take one if it was offered. The thing that chuffs my whole thing, chuffs is good, I believe is the British slang, that chaps my ass is the dual lands specifically, which are, you know, they're powerful, but it's not a Time Walk. Time Walk is a silly card. Like, Time Walk should not be playable. But I don't think a fucking scrub land is a bad, you know, precedent for to have a one of in a commander deck.
$2,500 basically for a volcanic island, and you're just like, fuck, man, I just want to have a blue red land come in untapped, please. I'm playing 6 or 4 color fucking Magic right now. I need colors available to me.
Yeah, and we could talk about this more. I think I've actually talked about this on WordFunk back in the day, but the idea is that if they do reprint these cards, they promise not to print. They could be sued for breaking that promise. There's a legal concept called promissory estoppel. I explained this a long time ago. But honestly, Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro. They have a huge fleet of lawyers. They should already know that the thing they're doing currently could be argued to break the reserve list. I think they're just seeing what they can get away with. They're dipping their toe in the big crime pond and hoping they can take as much fish as they can before someone shows up to stop them.
Now here's perhaps the most important thing about all this, though. Magic claims that they do not acknowledge the secondary market when they make their decisions. They don't make it based solely off monetary price because they're like, look, we don't control that. That's what all of you fantastic players decide. So yes, they're printing cards that are worth thousands of dollars in this form, but they don't really think about that. However, it is going to be $250 for 15 of these cards. So I mean, yeah, it's crazy, but we do need to make our nut too, even though this costs the exact same amount as a booster pack that costs $3 would cost to make. So, there's that as well. It's not like they're commissioning new art for this set either. All of this is the existing art.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing we could get into. Like, there's some controversy because all that old art was done under a different system where some artists retained the rights to that art. And it appears, and as of time of this recording, I don't think it's fully sussed out, that they may be trying to reprint some art they don't have the rights to, which would really suck. I know they fucking cropped out a signature on Birds of Paradise, which just scumbag behavior that doesn't even make sense because the whole point is cashing in on nostalgia. And if you played in 93, you want the signature on the Birds of Paradise. What do you... It's Mark Poole's signature, you fucking vultures. What are you doing? The explanation I saw was that it was some kind of person they third party contracted out, and that they didn't know that they shouldn't do that. And it's obviously if they had done in house they wouldn't have done that. But quality control for your $999 product, please.
Yeah. It's wild. It's a crazy time. I'm very thankful that because at this point I'm I don't care about any of the cards that are in it. I don't have an interest in anything that exists in beta. But it is a point of just fuck man, they really do just try to bleed you dry. And part of the argument too is they're well, not every product is for everybody, but you're I don't know, isn't this the one kind of big 30th anniversary of Magic thing you're doing? Last big anniversary you did a whole master set that people could draft and have fun with. I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically
Colossal Dreadmaw was on it. It's a good card. I love Colossal Dreadmaw. I want them to reprint Colossal Dreadmaw in every set. I don't care if it doesn't make sense.
That's a big meme for non-Magic people. I should say that I don't have any particular interest in it either. The only card that I would want is Tundra, but I already have a copy of Tundra. I've talked about this before. Just popped this up on Card Kingdom. This looks like $500 for a copy now. I got mine for $100, 10 years ago. So pretty good investment. But that is, the reason I only play blue-white decks is because I invested in a mana base in college, and I have no interest in changing lanes now that I'm here. It would be wildly expensive.
You don't want to jump into is it now?
That's the worst one to get into because that's awful. Yeah, no, I made out very, very well committing back when prices were more reasonable. So, oof,
up there. Wishbone is gay.
Yeah,
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Spaghetto popping on off with a bang.
Dragon Nexus.
Blackstone Morgan.
Doro.
Phoenix Toothill believes in you.
A gambling pig may have just sharded.
Yeah, it's still spooky. You should get that looked at. Larry, Bethany, Morgan, and Morgan say give Lauren money at paypal.me/Rogalicious. Lauren's lewds and nudes are very raw. Well, that all kind of started together. Lauren's lewds and nudes are very raw. Lauren's nudes are very raw.
Yeah.
It's very late when we're recording. Can you tell?
so tired, Austin. But I have to make more boo puns. Faye Majesty, Empress, Quintillion, Galax, Bouillon. It didn't work there, but sometimes you just force it in. Gotta get it in. Spookmaster General has to do so many, or else the parents don't give them the money.
The smiles blue.
Agent Hedgie Pickle.
Aaron Norgard.
Dispel Magic. I sure hope it is.
Squishy Fishy.
Arabella, hardly knew her.
Francois Arsenal.
Did you play Fire Emblem 7?
7, of course, man. Quinn, I watched you stream that game, and I was sending you a message you're pronouncing the characters' names wrong.
Did you? Was that?
Yes,
That's
this was 15 years ago.
another example of me doing voices that people got tired of very quickly. I just remember messages by the end like, I'm so fucking tired of Santa Hector. I can't fucking stand it anymore.
Yeah, what were you gonna say about Fire Emblem 7? That's a game fucking rocks. I think it just for Westerners, localized simply as Fire Emblem.
Yes. It's because of Arsenault. I was thinking of Renault, and I was always like, did anyone ever get any of his fucking support conversations? Because he comes in so, like, you only have, like, 3 stages to do it, and he required so much. I remember you just had to basically, like, end turns with him next to another character for, like, 48 turns in a row or some crazy shit like that. And, like, I was like, I never know anything about this character because I never did that.
Yeah, in the old games, there was a bunch of like, basically you had to camp out to do some stuff like that. It was very silly, but fuck, the animations in that game were so good.
Those pixel sprite crits, that was the pinnacle of video games. There's like graphically, there's nothing better than that. I could watch a knight crit somebody over and over again and never be upset.
Nothing looks better than Lindis critting in video games, even
good.
4K.
Can I tell you, this is a tangent, and I know we're trying to end, but I'm going to do it anyway. You can't stop me. I have control of this podcast now. I'm in your system.
Sure.
When I first played Fire Emblem, the last mission I was at, it's when like the 4 spoilers for Fire Emblem 7, by the way, I guess. It's when the 4 dead fangs come out or whatever. Or like I think there's 8 of them, but like the 4 fangs are in there, and fucking Lloyd comes out. And this motherfucker was fucking garbage when you fought him in the game normally, but he comes out as like a revenant, and he's so fucking strong. And I remember sitting there. And like nothing, I could not survive him. If he reached any of my units, he was gonna kill them. And I only play the game with everybody surviving. I can't do it otherwise. So I just remember sitting there and I was like, if Lindis attacks, she has a 33% chance to crit. If she crits, she kills him. If she doesn't, she dies and everything's over. And I remember hitting that A button and seeing that crit animation start and fucking screaming with excitement. Like that's like a fucking core memory for me.
Yeah, I mean, even the creators played that way, where that's why they gave you the option to have people come back in later game, like not die permanently, because they're like, let's be all honest with each other. We want everyone to survive, and we made the game too hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some people who are just unfairly brutal, and they'll target like hurt people or like healers, and it's just like
there was
so
some
rough.
games where like enemies would spawn behind you and just walk up and fucking crush your back line. You're like, I didn't even know someone appears there. Fog maps where it's like some fucking brigand pops up and he's just like, hey, what's going on, Archer? And just fucking crits them in the face. Brutal.
The old video game design was just fucking bastard town. They did shit like that all the time where it's like, oh, you have to basically lose your first run, know where dudes are going to spawn, and then play it again with that fucking future knowledge somehow. A lot of tactics games from that period are like that, and I'm glad we've moved past it because, like, what the fuck? Were you just trying to sell us a fucking strategy guide? So is that what the deal was?
Yeah.
The Nintendo Power, you son of a bitch?
Robert Chisholm,
Modified Matthew,
Don Johnston,
Cosmignon, Runaway Dracaina,
Zoltar, the Viking death metal caterpillar, conduit of retribution. Retribution.
You almost slipped there. Almost caught you slipping. Pocket Sundial.
It's very late, Kyle, conduit of drop, boot, and King boot ass /fic. There you go.
All right, we're losing it. We gotta wrap this one up.
Yeah, hit the quote. I'm good. I can still play, coach. Put me back in.
The Spookmaster General is gonna turn into a pumpkin in 20 minutes.
I'm like Matt Stafford when he got hurt, and someone called a time. He's like, I can still go out there, right? I'm just like, put me back in, coach. I can get Boo in there. Just give me a second.
Namita and Eskin's part of the problem.
Finally, Cave Age Cheese.
Elder Dog.
Antonio, conduit of snacks.
Paye Arabjurg.
Oh, C.R. Saldana, prophet of R.N. Jesus.
Kaniku fan.
Ooh, wait. Kunik Boo fan. I know that person, so I can say that. Arcano Vault returning to the credits to preach the word of Ultraman.
Coho Blast.
Callum, spooky, sexy, scaly bones. Also, Final Fantasy Orchestra was great. Turner.
Miles and Danny are getting married in 4 months. Congratulations.
Congrats. Mahogany.
Chris and Kipper the Cat have enjoyed the Lost cast with Q&A.
Aw, see? The audience loves it. And I bet Chris and Kipper the Cat are going to change it to loved Spookmaster General next month. And if they
Yes,
don't tell me.
Yeah, everyone please change your name for November to say how thankful you were for the Spookmaster General.
Yeah. And then like leave like an easy in for them. Like it's like leaving Santa cookie. You just like love the Spookmaster General being here. It was very good. And then like the like Spookmaster General could be like, don't you mean booed?
Yeah. Somehow the Spookmaster General will still be alive in November.
Oh yeah. They're withered. They're dying. The Spookmaster General reincarnates every October. There's a lot of lore, a lot of it contradictory. I'm not gonna lie.
Dr. Isix.
Chris Walling.
A vaccinated otter hoping to see its otter friends.
A good Brent Dogs.
B-Ray Echo.
Don't you mean B-Ray Echo?
We're almost there, I promise, audience. I can see the finish line.
Conduit of inevitability.
Andrew Feggie, Conduit of Corn.
Hey, I think you're doing great. You're going to be okay.
Bribes Austin $20 to say all the solitaire are gone.
Dude, you could buy like so many Lunchables with that.
I could.
Take it.
Nah, I'm holding out. Listen, I know it can go higher. There's the ceiling it's up there.
All right. If Joe had picked a pick of peppers, how many pickled peppers would Austin's pussy fit?
Now there's a scary one. It's time to Dorian.
Bro Jimbo.
More like boo Jimbo.
See, yeah, there you go.
Jimbo.
Yeah,
it's a boo on both ends.
You can get multiple ones. Sometimes here, let me show you how it's done. Mike Boo, Mink Boo, Monster Boo.
Fuck, can you see a master at work?
Sometimes you just see art in front of you and you can't explain it. It just happened.
I feel bad because Mikael Minkler's monster is a good name.
So is Mick Boo, Ming Boo, Mons Boo. So I don't know why we're arguing.
Curly.
Joe Hinchcliffe. Oh, sorry, Hinchcliffe.
Tim Lutton.
Sir Alistair Octopus says, support your union.
And as we established, the union is stored in the balls. So, Andy Harkins.
Dawning Frost.
Medical Dingus.
S. Kearney starts summoning spooky season. Well, it's here.
It's been here. It's really settled in. Killer Auto.
Austin's like, I won't leave my house now. Boo, why isn't your dryer working? Boo.
Yeah, shit's haunted, man. This fucking sucks. I just want to have some clean shirts. It's so much to ask.
Yeah, did we do Keller Automat?
We have now.
All right. Eva, enjoying the new season.
Cyretha, the asexual absurdist.
Julian, a Dice Funk evangelist. Have you heard the good word of Austin's pussy? That was the polite crow coming back like, oh, have you heard the good word of Austin's pussy? Chap pip pip.
It does sound much better in that voice.
Yeah. Everybody write your Austin's pussy jokes in British accents now.
Mix Morganic, the New York Yankees of cheeky wankies.
Lauren Cates, conduit of an October Patreon name that isn't spooky. Or is it boo?
Discord hates that. When your changes in like volume and tone, it just causes the whole program to have a conniption.
Oh no.
Counterfifth.
Tell all Discord to suck my tits. I don't know what to tell you. Rob Dakin.
Sean Lyons Burke. Lions are pretty spooky. I would be scared if I saw a lion.
Lion, also the name of a Fun Off or Fire Emblem antagonist.
That's true.
It all comes together. Everything full circle. Nearer the sun than is advisable, the Warforged Celestial Warlock.
Haster the Cabot.
The programmed man is inoculated by the nanomachine's malware, taking over his hardware. Reboot! Wake up! Face the end on your feet!
I'm scared now. The Precursor.
Killer Cotton Shizno.
Nicholas Doomnek.
Yam.
And Conduit of Procrastination.
Filmquisition.
Daniel Marsden, Atheist Paladin.
Do you want to know why Little Dan is Little Dan? It's because of that guy.
Is that the Big Dan?
That's Big Dan. When I was in a D&D group online, the group we were in, there were two Dans, and one Dan, Big Dan right there, was much older, and Little Dan, as he mentioned, was 16. I forgot he was that young. We really were mean to a 16-year-old. We're monsters. So we called him Big Dan and Little Dan.
Is that why Little Dan is the way he is? You did this?
I would like to think
trauma response.
I would like to think he's always been like that, and we just helped him flourish into his true being.
I cut out so much just
Why?
vitriol against left-handed people. It went on
Keep
half
it going.
an hour.
I want the Little Dan cut.
We're at Mazgen, Social Distance Warrior.
Criterion is a DM now, and oh my god, so much talking.
The other thing we cut out a lot of was the panda opinions. Dan hates pandas. He thinks they're useless. So I almost swung on him in the fucking Discord call. Pandas are perfect and soft and adorable.
Oh, I like this. I like that there's combat between you guys, a little friction. It makes it so when I start up the reality TV show where I nail you in a house together, there's like already built-in content.
Okay, I thought it was going to be like a behind the music, but behind the dice funk, you're like, I knew as soon as the Little Dan met Austin that this would destroy both of them.
Yeah, I've got like a long like pipe that I'm smoking out of, and I'm just like, I knew the moment I set the two of them up, there was only ever going to be problems. But the check cleared, so I wiped my hands of it.
And you take a big puff.
Like, there's no smoking on set. And then I throw it at the camera, and I'm saying, there'll never be any set as long as I'm here. And then I start strangling the camera.
Oh, this is a good show. I want to see this.
Yeah, I know. It's all about that drama.
Dorum Esta Gargatorum.
Josie and her primal companion, Swablu. Who would be your primal Pokemon?
I mean, Snorlax. I'm sitting next to a human-sized Snorlax plushie at this moment. I'm reaching over. I'm touching his ear right now.
Aw. All Snorlax are dead. You had to pick a new one.
Munchlax.
Damn, got me.
Fucking wrecked. In the spirit of the question, Volcarona. Probably my second favorite Pokemon.
Oh, Mothra. I like that one. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
Good one.
good stuff. Eleanor Nanat.
I don't think we've ever asked, what is your Gen's 9 starter going to be?
I'm really torn. I always pick grass, but they're all really good looking this time. I love Quaxley. I even love the little Fue Coco, I believe is the little guy's name.
Yeah.
I could go any which way, but I'm usually grass, but it's going to be the hardest time to pick, I think.
All right.
I was going to say Eleanor Nanatzi's Perigin, who dishes pain and soft aftercare, heart emoji.
Oh, so like this is the person I'm supposed to be doing the I'm a sad little baby emoticon to then, right?
Yes, you do. You sent this person the little baby emote.
Yeah.
No, oh me, who me?
I got all right, this is a true story. I was like just playing with my cat, and I call him a lot of different names as you just call your pet. And like I like to call him my little prince who was promised. And then I called him my little lion man. And I was like, oh my God, I should call you Mumford and Sons. And then I cried. And I just I need people to know that's how soft I am.
Were you crying because the Mumford and Sons guy returned out to be a Trump person and destroyed the band?
No, I mean that's a part of it as well. But I was just like, I don't know why. I was like, my little lion man.
The Younglings had it coming. I'm pretty sure Mumford and Sons, despite the sound of their band, are British, which is very funny. Yes, they are a British band. They sound like they're from fucking Georgia or something. It's very funny to be a weeb for the American South.
Fucking weirdos. The younglings had it coming.
Jew-Man. Oop.
Sorry, I thought
I'm not
realized we
editing
did
this.
it.
It's midnight. This is you're getting
It
this
comes out.
uncut.
Jew-Man Jack Skellington. You can't stop it. Oh, sorry. Boo-Man Jack Skellington.
Salad child. Usually I cut the crosstalk, but this is the Spookmaster General. You're getting it in its scariest form.
Yeah, it's all terrifying. Elderly Goose, Big Honk Energy in 2020. Boo.
Aki Savalainen.
Florian H.
Matt Burgles.
Shanus.
The Demolich, formerly known as Josh.
Ziphosaurus.
And Diego Van Dane.
Kitty's Foe says Snake Boss is haunted by Tail, who they took for granted.
Yeah. I'm glad we got more Tail content in these flashback episodes. There could be more, but it's nice that we got to see them again.
Ooh.
Sydney Marzing.
Jesse Neely.
Toby Gleason-Stack.
Michael.
Arjun de Koning.
Read Ruinous Fortune, or it's on site.
That's the energy
it doesn't
you should bring to self-promotion.
Yeah, it doesn't say it, but it's. I'm gonna add motherfucker at the end of it. You really come out like super aggressive.
I'm going to start carrying a gun that just says weekly manga recap on it, and I'm going to flash it at people so they know.
One of my favorite things in existing for a while has been being with casual people and explaining to them, like, I do a podcast, and they're like, oh, cool, what's it about? And I'm like, it's about manga. It's all about, they're like, oh, I kind of like that. I was like, you don't like the series we talk about. I guarantee you don't. And then I'm being like, oh, I'm going to listen. And then they never bring it up again. And I'm like, because you came into an episode and you were like, what the fuck is it? Jujutsu Kaisen? Like, what are you talking about?
Where's Naruto?
Yeah.
Actually, Naruto isn't it. Never mind. That was a dumb joke.
Why aren't you guys talking about Dragon Ball Z? Like, because that ended like 7 years before we started the podcast.
Yeah, what is the mainstream? I was going to say Demon Slayer, but that's over. What is the mainstream series right now for the kids?
My Hero is probably the longest running. It's worth noting that Jump is at a point now where series that are like 4 years old are like considered senior series in the magazine at this point. Like they're like the old guard at this point. But it would be My Hero, and then maybe not to a lesser extent, to like a tangential extent to Jujutsu Kaisen are like the two big ones. And then One Piece, which will run until the heat death of the universe, I presume.
Yeah, One Piece is special, but like I know Chainsaw Man is relatively popular, but its violence keeps it a little outside of traditional like shonen, mainstream acceptance, the way like Dragon Ball and Naruto were. Yeah. So I'm curious if there's going to be another like big. My Hero is ending, so it's like Rain is kind of coming, right?
There's going to be a difference. There's not going to be series that really run as long as like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. Like these are series that ran for like 8 years a piece. Manga doesn't seem to function that same way right now. Like My Hero is like 5 years, 6 years, and it's ending. Like we are in the final arc. Jujutsu Kaisen is kind of wrapping up as well. Maybe not immediately, but it's definitely probably closer to the end than the beginning. I don't think many mangaka want to write for 12 like decades anymore. Like it's just not kind of the same feasible thing, especially if you have a hit like Demon Slayer, which you're like 4 years in and out. Fuck yeah, set for life.
That was so wild how quick that happened.
Yeah. Also, Spy Family is probably right up there as well. That's a series that has exploded, which is also in a magazine kind of tertiary to Jump. It's published online, so it follows its own schedule, which is probably going to be the way we see most manga or a certain section of manga get published nowadays, because it's far healthier to your life than to have to crank out 19 pages of a manga every single week. So I think that's also a realistic thing we'll start seeing.
I like the idea that I asked you to tell me what the next big manga is, because I've been listening to your show long enough to remember the episodes where you read the beginning of Attack on Titan and you're like, I don't care for it. I don't think it's going to take off. Or I think you did the same thing with Chainsaw Man, where you're like, this guy sucks. Fuck him. We're done reading this.
We infamously stopped reading Chainsaw Man and then picked it up when it became super huge. Now, in defense, I think that was not a right thing, but I totally understand why we didn't like Denji because he sucks at the Star Chainsaw Man.
Sure. It's just like your show is funny and I like the host and everything, but I wouldn't say one of your strengths is prognostication vis-a-vis popularity.
Now I'm hurt and I feel bad. And now I'm crying baby emoji all over again.
Yeah. Listen, I thought Bernie Sanders was going to win 2 presidential elections in a row. Who the fuck am I to talk? I'm not any better at it. Dashon, the Rage Monster.
Harrison Andrew.
Lukey Ookie Pookie.
Jade.
The Cult of Gorfanax.
Dylan and Rylan, the dog, relaxing with board games. I hope you're having fun with those board games.
Me too. Pruitt Holcomb.
Christopher Scarlow.
Oh, fuck, you did it. At the buzzer.
Yeah.
That's
Scarlow. Or Scarelow. I should have done Scarelow. Oh,
That's also very good. So we are at the end of the name list. Joe is going to have to wait 12 whole months to meet the Spookmaster General. Her loss, really.
I could come to your house if you want. You're like, no, never, please. I'm locking the doors. All you do is you see me outside the window with a big spooky hat and mask on. You're like, nope.
You're just dressed up like the Babadook outside of our building.
Famous queer icon, the Babadook.
Yeah. She does want to have a Halloween party, but knowing her, it's definitely going to get canceled at the last minute. So if she invites you, just say yes. You probably won't actually have to come.
I was invited to a beach trip and then just heard tangentially later the beach trip happened. And I was like, oh, so that invite wasn't a concurrent, like, standing rolling invitation. I found out.
Oh, that was a different beach. Okay, so for the audience, you were invited to a beach trip. We were literally like packing up to go, and our cat got cancer and died. And I like texted you on the way to the vet or something like, I don't think we're gonna make it to the beach.
Oh, no.
Sad face. But then there was a different beach trip. I think these was the different people.
Probably.
Yeah, I think the way this works is that the second beach trip, I don't want to out anybody, but there is it's charity work my girlfriend does for a sex worker organization, and this was really a, let's say, drug centric adventure.
Are you saying I'm not cool enough for the drug adventure?
I don't know that necessarily. It was like I wasn't even invited originally, and then I think I was drafted to be a juice box referee to like bring people who were having episodes towels and stuff. Like I wasn't on drugs. I was a babysitter is the word I was looking for there. I was babysitting people who were deeply high on the beach. So I don't know if that group knew you. I think was what happened there.
That's perfectly fine. I just sat there with my new swimsuit being like, maybe next year. And then I stared off out my window as the seasons changed.
We are definitely going to the beach and hanging out with you more. That's the thing is I don't want to get into in trouble, but there are stories about drugs that happened there that were very funny. There was someone was like, I need to go to urgent care. I'm so fucked up. Got in the car, started driving. Halfway there, like, no, I feel great. Turn around. This is great. I'm having a wonderful time.
Dude, I'm killing it. I've never felt better.
Yeah, they're just like, can I have a sandwich? It was fun, but it was a different crowd.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. A lot of good stories. People were like, "Oh, you fucked that guy? Wouldn't it be funny if we robbed him?" Teehee. I'm joking, or am I?
Or let's just read the room after that joke and see. Now things are a little bit changed. The dynamics changed. We have a new night plan.
Literally, yes. They were just talking about this guy that was their client, and he was like, "Oh, he has a collection of Japanese art. Wouldn't it be funny to?" I was just like, "Listen to this," and they were just like, "What if we took it? Wouldn't that be funny?"
What if they started talking about you? Like, I know this nerd. He has so many scrolls. We could just beat him up and take all of his scrolls and his big Snorlax plushie. You're like, "Hey, who are you guys talking about?"
I heard he has one copy of Tundra, the Magic the Gathering card.
I want them to describe it exactly like that. A copy of Tundra, the Magic the Gathering card. That's how the eBay listing goes up.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the credits, and I hope you enjoyed the specific ambiance we brought to it today.
Yeah, all the good
look
stuff.
forward to the next episode that comes out. It's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, and the next credits episode, don't forget, go change your Patreon names, talk about how much you love the Spookmaster General and how you want them to return, or I'll be sad.
I wonder if anyone's going to catch the thing you said earlier, which is you're going to watch What We Do in the Shadows as research for your season 10 character, and then we just moved on. That's such a juicy morsel to drop in there.
No one's gonna pick up on that. They're all thinking about like, oh, they talked about Fire Emblem and like nerd shit. They're like attached to that, and they're just like, what would he even think about with What We Do in the Shadows? Nothing there. There's nothing to dig into.
Fuck. The next Fire Emblem has little equipable old Fire Emblem characters. You can equip Hector. God damn, that looks good.
Are you excited for it? With the blue red hair design?
I don't give a shit about any of those fucking new nerds. I am an old head. I want to see fucking Marth, and I want to see fucking Ephraim.
Marth
that little freak.
Ephraim rolls. I thought Ephraim was the coolest person as a kid. I was like, this dude fucks. And then like you get older and you're like, this dude absolutely does not fuck.